Good day everyone! Welcome in a new episode of Sailing Learning by Doing. Last week, we let you in Double Bay, just before the Whitsundays area. We are still sailing south in direction of Brisbane for Christmas. After a short stop in Airlie Beach where we did groceries, laundry and some other really boring stuff not interesting to film, we are starting this episode on our sailing out of Airlie Beach in 14 knots of wind at 60 degrees in a bluebird day. Direction Tong Bay, where we will spend the night and try to enjoy in the early morning the view on Whitehaven Beach. An easy half of a day sailing in an area that we are starting to know really well.
Good morning, baby. How was this night?
Not the more relaxing, sleepful night tonight. We're in Tongue Bay. I'm probably looking at, I can't even rub the juice out of my eyes. I've got soap everywhere. We're in Tongue Bay, which is, most of you will not know, but it's where you anchor when you're going to Inlet or Whitehaven Beach, the big blue swirly place. And I've been here before and I've never had it rolly, but it's a bit more easterly, and man, it is rolly. You'll have to see on these shots, but that was all night. And it got way worse. There was things flying off tables, banging, things coming out of the bloody pantry. That was a shit night.
Yeah, it's 6:30 in the morning and we had probably one of the baddest nights on the boat because of this rolliness. Really, I think we never had that like this before. And I hope it's gonna really worth it. The point of view, we timed it good. Normally the tide's gonna be at the right moment to have the maximum of the beautiful colors in the Whitehaven Beach. But yeah, definitely that was a bit of pain this night.
As the boat was really uncomfortable, we decided to make a takeaway breakfast with sandwiches and papaya salad and get off of the boat as soon as possible. There is a 10 or 15 minutes easy walk to the panorama, which were particularly pleasant with this early sunlight. The rolly night and the lack of sleep were definitely worth it. The place is just amazing, and we had the chance to enjoy it by ourselves before the tourist group started to come. The colors were so beautiful and attractive that we decided to go on the beach to have a little swim before pulling the anchor and taking the direction of Lindeman Island. The water was colder than what we were expecting, especially after Magnetic Island and the tropical heat. It was a bit surprising to be back in colder water. After being fully awaked by our sea bass, we went back to the boat and left as soon as possible the Raleigh anchorage. We had another half of a day sailing to Lindeman Island.
So we're at a place called Lindeman Island right now. It's in the south end of the Whitsundays, like the extreme south end. Not many people, like cruising people, come down here apart from when they're leaving to go south, and then they might anchor up here for a night. But the reason we came ashore here is this is an old Club Med resort. It's closed down now for more than 20 years. But I used to work here, and my younger brother Fraser actually, but I worked here twice during the mid-90s when I was backpacking around Australia. And yeah, it was a pretty cool time of my life. I was just real young and dumb and full of sun, and had a great time working here. All of the workers here were transient backpackers. New ones would come and go every day. It was work, save every cent, because here all the accommodation and food got paid, but also have a great time partying every night, stealing wine from the restaurants, stealing all the nice camembert and good food. Not stealing, just borrowing obviously, but yeah, it was a great time to be a teenager and working here. And this is also where I got my first camera and started taking photos and started getting into it. And obviously it was all analog and that sort of stuff. But I'm going to walk up to the end of the golf course, and that's where I used to go and take photos all the time at sunset. So I'll walk up there and have a look. But I'll show you around a bit. So this is the staff restaurant and kitchens and stuff. This is where I used to eat every day. And you could buy a beer here, low strength beer, and there's a little swimming pool outside. And this is where our accommodation area was, the dongas and stuff. Go for a bit of a walk around there. It's all pretty run down now. What are you looking for there, bud?
The kitchen is still full of things. It's crazy. They just left and left everything.
Yeah. Oh, here was the gym over here. I spent many hours in here in the gym. I was quite into working out and being all buff back then. Yeah, it was really hot, not air conditioned. I used to sweat a lot. These are all. What are they called? These are the light came on.
Let's go down, Lucas, huh?
So this is staff accommodation. These are called the dongas. Rows upon rows, there's loads of them all around here. Back in the bush, rows and rows of them. I guess there was probably 200 or so people working here. And you either had a single or you could have a double and a bit bigger and share with people if you're doing different shifts. Each one had air conditioner, each one had a kettle, and you know, a lot of them would have toasters and things like that in them. And and I think we had a bathroom in each one actually. We didn't live too badly here, wasn't too bad.
If the staff accommodation is already insalubrious, we were surprised to discover that the main buildings with guest accommodations were still in super good state. One of the doors of the apartment were exploded by humidity, so we had a quick look inside, and you could envisage to come here in holiday after a quick cleaning. The furnitures, the mattress, everything looks so good. Club Med were really a trendy way of traveling in Europe during the 90s and 2000s. They were planted everywhere in the world, beach places and ski resorts, and all looked quite the same, so it was funny to see how they look familiar to me. You don't need much to imagine how it was when it was running. The huge size of the place, the perfect location, the wonderful gardens and this big golf course. It is so sad to see everything slowly falling apart. It looks now like a ghost paradise resort. There are for sure some money, safety, insurance reasons to not rehabilitate this place, but what a waste.
Quite a funny thing, and while I was back in Europe 3 weeks ago, I had a bit of a get-together in Zurich because I used to live there, a lot of friends and just people I've known over the years from Zurich, and a girl called Yael, who I met in Australia in 1994 while I was backpacking, and we travelled a bit together. She lives in Zurich and I've kept in touch with her over the years, and she came to this get-together and she passed me an envelope, and it contained a few letters that I wrote to her in the 90s, late 90s, and some photos that I took at this very spot. And that was pretty funny because I'd already been thinking about coming here and showing you guys this, and then she turned up in Zurich and I didn't ask her to. Well, I asked her to turn up, but I didn't ask her to bring those. I didn't even think she'd have them. That was 30 years ago. And yeah, so there's photos in that envelope, but 3 of the photos I think were taken from this very spot on one of my first ever rolls of film that I ever shot in my life. And so that was pretty crazy that she, I don't know, just did that, and I was thinking of coming here anyway. Anyway, life can be weird. So obviously at the time I didn't have any idea that I was going to go on to spend my life doing photography. I did know at the time though that I was really keen, more than just on taking nice sunset pictures. I really sort of studied it. Obviously it was analog, so I used to write down a little book what exposures I took in that, and then whenever I got film developed and that came back as photos, I'd sort of look up and see what I did and what I did wrong. I did study it a bit, and there was no internet back then, but I read books and basically just learning by doing. I just sort of tried this, and then a month later I'd see, oh, bugger that up, I'll try it differently. So I did have some sort of an idea to get better. But I didn't really have in my wildest dreams that I'd be a professional photographer at that time. But it was it was just came as it came, and that's the best way. I mean, I fell in love with it, obviously, and you couldn't get a better place to start. And it probably, as much as I love taking photos of people, and I have made a living of, obviously to make money off photography, it's pretty hard just for landscape, but I still do have, the love is taking photos of natural things, and nowadays I just put people in those natural environments, and that's how I make the money. But I'm not a studio guy and things like that. I take photos in the nature, and that probably started here. And yeah, it's good to come back and see it, even though it's very different, but it was 30 years ago, so I'm very different too. Anyway, here's a bit of a look at some of the work I've done over the years, a few snowboard covers and things like that of magazines, and we'll see you later. So as you see here on Lindeman Island, I started my photography and just taught myself, never did any courses or anything like that. Soon after leaving Lindeman, I went to Europe, and fell in love with the Alps in Switzerland and Austria, and also fell in love with snowboarding, and just started getting mad keen into that. And by year 2000, I was actually professional. Just it crept up on me. I didn't try it. It just sort of happened. I mean, hard work and all that, but it wasn't a career plan. And it just came along, and I made a network. I worked hard. In 2005, Volcom offered me a contract to shoot their pro team. Basically just involved following them around the world wherever it snowed and shooting pictures of their professional athletes. And I continued with that up until 2021. So every year working for Volcom. At the same time, obviously, I was working for many other brands, but not contracted to them. I also submitted images to 45 magazines at one stage back in the day when it was big. Got over 100 covers internationally, many thousands and thousands of pages of editorial. And yeah, just it just all went along, and it never really seemed like work, or that I even tried that hard, to be honest. It was just fun and amazing. Here you can see some of the work I've done over the years. I haven't really collected most of it, so there's a lot more out there. This one here, a Dutch girl, Cheryl Mas, that's the first ad that Volcom bought off me. This one here is also one of my favourite ones from Falls Creek in Australia. An amazing image that I shot with a drone. And yeah, it's just a very small selection of my work. Hope you enjoyed it. Well, we're not sailing, we're motoring. We have a sail up, but it's not really helping. We're heading south. We left Shore Island a couple of hours ago. We're going, it's just 20 miles down to a place called Brampton Island. It's an old resort, and anchoring there the night. But right now we're just motoring at 5 knots. Boring.
And we're just motoring because otherwise we won't get there at all.
Yeah, we're just motor sailing as well. We're already doing 4.5. We've got a knot and a half current against us, so that's screwing us a bit.
Yeah, we're doing about the same. Yeah, 4.5. Motor sailing, mainly motoring.
Yeah, we're halfway now. But there's a lot of brown stuff here. Is it just in between these islands, or have you got it as well?
No, we've got patches of just this brown, yeah, slimy algae sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's just completely full of it here. It stinks. What?
I'm gonna vomit.
What?
It's too stinky. These brown things on the water is just... If you don't like the smell of old fish or stuff like that, you can just imagine it's worse.
It's a bit like blood or iron, like it's got a metallic sort of smell too.
Yeah, but also rotten seaweed. I don't know. That century. When we sailed to coming here, I think we never had that before. We had probably more than 50 marsh flies. There are these big flies who are like sucking the blood and let you itchy bites, coming probably from the land with the wind. And yeah, like I spent the whole sailing time with this, trying to kill all of them, but sadly I think we have some bites anyway. And now we are just coming here, and they are all coming to say welcome.
There's one. Where is it?
It's gonna go on me. Oh no, just
Boom.
It's a cemetery of them.
Frampton Island. Beautiful little place. There's actually 2 islands by the look of it. And yeah, anchored here in about 12 metres of water. The wind is supposed to come around more to the east tonight, but we have 80 miles to do tomorrow, so we sort of figured if it just comes around and it gets a bit rolly in here, we'll just pick up the anchor whatever time of the night it is and go, because we'll just, you know, we've got all day tomorrow anyway. So yeah, that's what we'll do. Hope you enjoyed this video. This one's edited and filmed mostly by Marie. Well, it's probably half filming, but Marie's doing all the editing. Hope you enjoyed this. She's got a different flavour than me. And yeah, thanks patrons. Very nice to see you and hear your comments, and hopefully meeting up with a bunch of you along the way. I know in Bundaberg and Tin Can Bay and Brisbane there's a bunch of you. We'll hopefully have a meet up with you guys on the way. If any others, not just patrons, fans, just people who want to meet us, have a beer. You know the places we're stopping on the way down. Between here and Brisbane, Sydney, yeah, just sing out. Hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. G'day. It's Toby and Tara just buzzing by. Yeah, hit us up on any of it. There's 7 million different ways to hit us up. Just you'll find us online. Tell us where you are. Send us your phone number, whatever. We'll try and meet up with it. It'd be great. And yeah, we'll see you all next week. It's just endless passage videos for the next few weeks. Now we're just moving the whole time. We'll be at a different place every day nearly, so that's probably interesting for some of you, and we'll try and bring you some of the sailing and some of the places we do stop at. Anyway, see you then. Bye bye.